Now then, welcome to the latest instalment of Red Army TV. Yaff is not in the gaff, I'm afraid. He's not feeling too well. He's been sniffing too many barmaids' aprons. That's what the old Yaff's been doing. So you've got to put up with me for the next half hour. Two great guests in the studio. It's John Donovan, Dan Chapman from 12th Man.
Yep.
Fellas, no real action to talk about this week, so we thought, let's get 12th Man in. Let's have a bit of a review. So we're talking really the season as has been. Thoughts so far, John, on where we are?
Well, it was always going to be a season of transition. I think we got the gist of that from the summer with Woodgate's appointment. A lot of Borough fans were wanting an experienced manager with the hope that we could push on from last season where we just finished outside the playoffs. Jonathan Woodgate was appointed. I think it became reality that he wouldn't have a great deal of finance to play with.
Yeah.
So we were going to use the squad we had and any players coming through the academy. And by and large, despite a few setbacks, it's been a decent season. I'd give him 7.5 out of 10 so far. You know.
That high?
I would, yeah.
Because it's only been the last month and a half where we started to show our true colours.
It has been, but if you think of the home games, apart from Sheffield Wednesday, who aerially bombarded us and we just couldn't handle it, the other games against West Brom, who are currently second, against Fulham in the playoff places, Brentford, they beat us 1-0, but we had goals chalked off wrongly. We played really, really well. Preston at home, we played really, really well. There was only the one game at home where I think we've been sort of battered. So from the hand he was dealt, I think he's done quite well. I've been pleased.
Your thoughts?
Yeah.
I suppose we veered straight into Woody. So where are you sitting? Contented at the moment or not?
He wasn't my opinion at first. He wasn't my first choice whatsoever. But when he got appointed, you've just got to back what's been given. And I think a lot of fans straight away were like unhappy. He's the first person to blame. But like John said there, performance-wise, it's probably the best football we've played since Caranta left. Since the season we actually got promoted. I know we didn't play the best of football in the Premier League, but with the players we had to go into the Premier League, could you play the better football? But I think Woody's turned it round. He's gone with his own philosophy, and he's actually... It's came through, it's playing better, his philosophy is playing better now because of the changes that he had to make, sort of thing. I think at the start of the season when we were just missing out on games, just missing out on results, was through his inexperience as a manager and then also through the actual tactical changes where when he got them injuries, suspensions, and the team also then started to pick itself, sort of thing, it's found a shape, a structure that we actually play really well at. There's three at the back, even though we have two centre midfielders playing at the back. The two wing backs that would any of us have picked them at the start of the season? Maybe Coulson. None of us had even...
Jed Spence.
Jed Spence was like well out the window. Dyke Steele come in as a signing. Now I don't think he'll get a look in.
What about expectation, John? Were levels set unreasonably high at the start of the season? Because we were fed this attacking football, pressing play. We had the Luton game where we all looked at it and thought,
hopes up.
Wow, this is going to be a great season. Were expectations unfairly high at that time?
Some possibly, yeah. We didn't, barring the first couple of games, Brentford at home, Luton away, we didn't show the characteristics of the pressing game that he said he wanted to play. But then again, changing the mindset of players can be fairly long term. It won't happen overnight. I think we're seeing it more now. I love to see us closing down. Love to see us sort of chasing lost causes. And we're doing more now, or we're doing now what he promised us at the start of the season, but we didn't really see then. And Danny was mentioning there, I can't remember the last time we had our full strength team out. We seem to have been...
We have had a horrendous run, haven't we?
Yeah, we seem to have been had a real bad bad run of luck with injuries in key positions, plus some stupid sending-offs along the way. We've never had our best two midfielders playing in midfield for a long, long time. You know, we had to bring pairs in because, I mean, Randolph started the season injured, and whether or not he fully recovered, I don't know.
Like you say, some of it was like hidden gems came out. For me, I mentioned on the podcast a few weeks ago, the Ashley Fletcher situation. I'd have never, ever put him as a lone striker.
Yeah.
But in Woodgate's philosophy of that high press, he's the man that, if you watch in the final third, he actually makes so many tackles in that, because he's the first there. And he actually causes so much problems for the opposing teams, especially at the Riverside, because a lot of teams sit further back, try and play it out. And for me, Ashley Fletcher's become nailed on number 9, centre forward.
Things didn't go right, did they, for a long way? I mean, we'll talk about turning points before the end of the show, but things didn't go right for a long time. People started to turn. But I don't think I remember hearing Johnny Woodgate start whinging about injury problems, things like that. How refreshing is it not to have a manager who wants to hide behind excuses?
Yeah, it is. I suppose it's really easy to make those type of excuses to dig yourself out of a hole. But as we sort of alluded to, you know, he has had some terrible luck.
Oh, absolutely. And we were at the awards night, the MDSA awards night, just 24 hours ago. And we were talking to Johnny Howson about what's it like, those old legs playing at the back. Because there's one of our prime midfielders who, like McNair, would have been key for us in the centre of the park.
Yeah, that's right.
Had it not been for the injuries.
Yeah, and also the young fullbacks coming in and taking everybody, well, the majority of fans by surprise as to how well they've adapted very, very quickly. Like Dan says, the emergence of Fletcher as a key striker now. So, despite all the setbacks and the difficulty, there's been some real positives coming out of it.
Yeah, got to say hello to a few people on social media. We are on Teesside TV. We're on Facebook Live as well. Peter Grasham, Nicky Ford, Derek Hall. Good to have you with us. Scott Watson, bit ahead of time, Scott. Hi lads, I think Borough will win 2-1 on Saturday. I think we'll get two more players in before Friday as well. We'll talk about obviously the game coming up this weekend shortly. Alan Tash Fletcher's watching. Jamie Dalgarno's watching. Who's he? Ian May, Chris Holly, Antonio Iafano. Sorry, Yaf's not here. Michael Heselters. Now then, everyone at Red Army TV. Ibrahim Tanner. Now then, Phil Martin. Looking better, Danny. Starting to get
Phil.
grief already, are you?
Cheers, Phil.
Getting grief, lads. We've got the 12th man in town.
Thought it'd be Dally at the big griefing straight away.
Paul Bowdler, great night last night, Dave, at the MDSA Awards. It was, wasn't it?
It was
a great night.
Ibrahim Tanner, I was waiting for Ibi to give us his thoughts. We were led to believe it would be a season of change and high-tempo attacking football. I think expectations were, and I'm trying to press C more here because it's a longer one, greater than we thought we might finish. And the Tash has said he's watching. What about the young'uns? Because that really was a bit of a bright spark for us, wasn't it, the young'uns?
Yeah.
Seeing Coulson come in. But then out of nowhere came Jed Spence.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you just look at the last game as well. Wood, he came in and he looked so comfortable. He's 17.
Yeah.
He looked so comfortable and just cool and calm, you know. He making his first team debut and really league debut. And you would have thought that there might have been a few nerves there, but he handled it really well. And Woodgate said afterwards, it was finding the right time. He knew he had the talent, but it's just finding the right time when to introduce him. So, yeah, we are seeing the benefits of such a good academy, you know, that we've had for years, and that they're coming through.
Yeah, Nathan Wood 18 months ago was playing in the Conyers school team with my son. You know, now there he is, thrust upon the championship.
That's it. I remember watching him when I was coaching at Tibbs. I remember watching him on Saturday morning with Clem, like obviously his stepdad.
Yeah.
And his dad's working at Huddersfield now, and Nathan Wood sat butter-shirted up waiting to come on the pitch on Saturday. It's crazy.
I know. But an assured performer. I mean,
he didn't
once
look
his
out
feet,
of place.
He didn't look out of place.
No, he didn't. No,
I always remember Dally and Josh and Steve talking in the podcast early on in the season about the injury to Hayden Coulson.
Yeah.
That stopped him starting the season with us. The pre-season he had, everyone was like,
You're raving about him.
This is going to be the player. And the first couple of results didn't go our way, and them four saying on the podcast week in, week out, when Hayden Coulson comes back, the shape will come back and things will change. And then now we've got one on each side. It's just like, everyone talks about him straight away after every game.
We'll continue this. We've got to take a quick break. We've got turning points of the season to come as well. We've got to look ahead. But time to earn a little bit of coin on Teesside TV. Give us your thoughts as well on social media. Facebook Live, that's the place to be. We'll catch you after this short break. Now then, welcome back to Red Army TV. The 12th man has taken over today. We're having a bit of a review of the season, digging deep into thoughts on the borough. John and Dan with us. We were talking just before the break, fellas, about the two youngsters wide, the two rampaging wing-backs. So we've got Jed Spence, we've got Hayden Coulson. How much balance have they given us?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's allowed us to have a bit more of a positive forward-looking outlook. Because, I mean, I'm sure you've seen yourself the way the both can get back and can recover from if our attack breaks down. They can get back to cover so quickly.
Far quicker than the likes of George,
Yeah, and that makes a hell of a difference.
But it's good the way Woodgate brought them in, and he also used the experienced heads on the pitch. I know they've got Housen and McNair behind Jed at the moment, but then they also had, was it George Friend sat on the sideline as a ball boy position,
Yeah, he was,
screaming at people.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned experience there as well. George Saville, this sort of season, the second half of this part of the season, he's emerged. He's showing us.
International break, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's showing us why we spent the money on him, and he's been a key player. He got a stupid red card at Derby, but other than that, you know, he's done really well, and it's looking better.
It wasn't looking better up until and including the Leeds game. How much of a turning point was it?
I think it was key, to be honest, because it was always going to be tough there, you know, an intense...
I've got to be honest, I went there expecting to be beaten. I just didn't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And we got embarrassed.
And we were embarrassed.
Yeah, I can follow your thought process there. We got off to a terrible start, you know. Defensive mistake, the ball should have been dealt with, it wasn't. It came back and Bamford had an easy header to set up 1-0. We got back into the game a little bit, but they scored just before half-time, 2-0, and that absolutely knocked the stuffing out of us. Their fans were well up for it. And like you say, we come away angry, disappointed, you know, embarrassed. But since then, it's all changed. Whether or not there was whether or not something was said at the dressing room, or whether people decided, you know, don't want to face that embarrassment anymore and just stepped up. I don't know.
It was likely to go one or two ways, wasn't it? It was either going to be the end of Woodgate or the start of the end of Woodgate after such a hammering, or there was a reaction. How surprised were we got the reaction we got?
Like, it couldn't have gone better. And I think Fletcher's goal at West Brom summed up the whole Christmas period in that, wow.
Yeah.
That's all you can say for the goal was wow. Because it goes from... The only bad result was Swansea, where...
And that was self-inflicted, really, wasn't it?
It was another one where we threw a grenade in.
We got ourselves back into the game 1-1 to Ennia's great goal. And then Marcus Brown gets himself stupidly sent off.
That's because we've got midfielders who don't know how to tackle. That's the only problem. Right?
Yeah. I mean...
well, we do, but the centre-halves.
Yeah, we talk a lot about games, obviously, on the 12th Man podcast, and we mentioned about Brown, and don't know whether he's just headstrong or just trying too hard, but he was headstrong in that game. He was a rash tackle, and it cost us. It cost us that game.
He reminds me of Marvin Johnson when he first came, that he wants to do everything so fast and rushed. And hopefully, this loan spell away brings him back the same like Marvin Johnson has. Because
Is
Marvin
that-
Johnson's came back another totally different player as well.
Is that loan spell a punishment? Or is it a chance for him just to reflect
I think
on what's
reflect
happened?
and get more minutes.
Yeah,
a lot more minutes.
I think I don't think it's punishment as such, but maybe it's he's had a talk and just said, go down there, play, and come back a better person, come back more relaxed, because like you say, he was trying far too hard here.
Yeah. A couple of comments on social media, keep them coming. We love to receive them. Michael Good's watching, Andrew Tate's watching with you. Good. Please, it's not without. Julie Weston. Julie Weston, you know Julie Weston?
Yes.
Go on, John. You know your stuff. I'm watching from Goa, up the borough.
Oh, nice one.
God, I wish I was in Goa.
I was gonna
It's
say,
a bit
look,
damn
you're
sight
so-
warmer than it is on Teesside at the moment. Yaf's watching, hey mate. Hope you get well soon. You've lost your spot. Eve Tanner, I agree about Saville. He's really stepped up for us. Dave Robinson, hello mate. Matthew Ward, hello. Jonathan Leeming, hello. Stu Gourlay, the young lads will be okay. Team of 86 young lads did all right. Let them loose. Take less time to recover than the older guys. Andy Harris, hope that's not the Newcastle training top, Danny Chapman.
Nah, it's not.
Are you sure?
Just a plain Adidas tracksuit.
Still wear it. I was in Newcastle yesterday, under the shadow of St Jokers Park.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, mate, I did disinfect myself when I got back to the Teesside border. Let's look at the positive side of the season so far. Those 4 straight victories. Bang, bang, bang. They included West Brom, who were top at the time. Preston, who had the best home record in the division at the time.
Yeah.
Where the heck did they come from?
God knows. I don't know. But one comment you read out there about the spirit of 86.
Yeah.
I think the young lads have brought that energy, not just amongst the squad, the team, but the fans as well. Really sort of upbeat now. The fans I talk to anyway, they're really positive now and looking towards a better second half of the season, and then all those young lads will have the experience behind them to have a push on next season.
Yeah.
I think in the 4 games as well, you've gone from Stoke, we were 1-0 down, we came back to win 2-1, so we showed character to come from a goal down.
Yeah.
We scored an early goal in the
Huddersfield
game and held on to it all the way through, showed we can literally ride the wave.
Yeah.
And then the West Brom, they were top of the league at the time, and we outplayed them. So it went from there, and it showed what character the whole team's got, the whole squad. I mentioned on the podcast, the Birmingham away defeat, we walked off the pitch as individuals. When we were at home, the West Brom game we won, we came off that pitch as one full unit. And then the Stoke game after that, we had the Leo incident, the applaud for Leo being since the accident. And that was the togetherness that Leo always says, that for me, it was like the fans had eventually got back to, we are now behind this team. The team is now with the fans. We're going in the right direction.
Interesting stuff coming in. Our Red Army insiders, and we can't reveal too much, so I won't until our transfer deadline day special, which is coming up on Brexit Day, on Friday. 11 o'clock we leave Europe, 11 o'clock we sign Ronaldo. No, a couple of possible signings in the offing, which the fans might like, so keep your eyes on that one. Do you know the biggest disappointment in those 4 straight wins for me? I forgot to take my glasses to West Brom. I couldn't see Fletcher's finish. I saw him hit it, and I saw everybody go up around me. I didn't see the ball at the back of the net. That's devastating.
What an amazing game that was, because we dominated first half and we went in 1-0. And I was having a pint and I was telling people, West Brom are going to come at us. They can't. They can't be
that bad again.
Yeah, they can't be that bad again. We come out and we were stronger.
Yeah.
You know, it's a case. It was a case of we're not going to let you impose yourselves on us.
These
And
older
we
people
were,
are still feeling it.
We were fantastic.
His legs.
I was there going, heck, we're leading. Oh, but they're going to come back at us. They'll equalise before half time.
Well,
Still leading.
you're not in the
Second
top
half,
two.
they're going to come out and really have a go at us. They're not having a go at us. Hours gone. And I kept looking at my watch, 70 minutes have gone. 10 minutes left. It's going to be typical, but I know it's going to happen here. If we can just hold out and get 1-1, I'll be happy. This is what I'm saying to myself.
I know.
And then all of a sudden, injury time, bang, 2-0. It's like, we've won. We've won. Where does that leave us for the season now? Please don't say 16th or whatever.
Well, obviously you've just talked about the transfer window, and Woodgate's hoping to bring two more players in. With Britt being declared fit. Dale Fry was past fit for this
I was
weekend's
still
game.
3 weeks away. I was talking to him yesterday.
Yeah. But with 2 new incomings, strengthening the size of the squad and also the experience within the squad, it just gives us more options. I think we can just sort of press on from there. I don't expect the playoffs, but we're 9 points above the bottom 3. We've obviously got to be careful that we don't.
It was 12 at one point, and it's we've just eroded a couple of points there.
So we just have to make sure that we keep that gap, and who knows, if we do progress towards the top half of the table, you know, it's all good, because it's experience for the youngsters who this is their first season, and also our experienced players will learn. They'll learn also to play
Just
with
to
the
keep
young lads for
chasing
next
that pack
season.
would be nice for me at the end of the season.
So it starts at the weekend. Blackburn, what do you fancy? We're running out of time. We really are just now looking for predictions.
I'm going to 1-0 win.
1-0 Borough.
And if you listen
John?
to the podcast, I'll me say a wins.
I'm going to say 3-1 Middlesbrough.
3-1 Borough?
Yeah,
We're really going to bang goals
It's
in?
going. Well, I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's going to be an emotional return for Downing and Tony Mowbray.
Right.
But fans will be behind the Borough.
Absolutely. And we're out of time. Thanks, fellas. We'll catch you next week.